死んだ。ああ、初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにチンが多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
何度つらいとかで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった。大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そうそうそうそう。言い話せるで。
Hello, everyone. Welcome into another CobraCast 199. I think I just saw someone complaining about the intro. If you're you must be new here. You must be new here complaining about the intro. What happens when you complain about the intro around here? Does anyone know? For the person that was complaining about the intro, I dedicate this to you.
死んだ。ああ、初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにチンが多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
何度つらいとかで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった。大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そうそうそうそう。言い話せるで。
And now we're back for another proper intro to CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Major IDOT of the 199. Happy to see all of you here today. Jeremy likes to chase away his followers. Is that what that one said? No. It's just about it's about having fun around here. And sometimes people take shit too seriously, and I'm here to have a lot of fun with it. Now, I hope I got the audio fixed from earlier. I hope. We'll see. I did re-listen to the audio, and it sounded bad. So I think I've gotten it better. I hope that it's better. So you guys can just let me know if it is better. Now I'm hearing, oh, we can't hear you, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, as soon as I ended my stream earlier, President Trump starts taking questions from the media. It's also been a pretty hectic day since I ended my stream, and a lot has happened. A lot indeed. So I want to jump right into what I think is the most interesting story right now. And that would be this story from it's so weird. Okay. So breaking in a letter to the FBI, Vance, I think it's Bolter, claimed Governor Tim Walz instructed him to kill Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could run for the Senate. What? Okay, this is wild. This story is wild. So if you know the backstory here is this guy actually worked for Tim Walz. Apparently his wife was connected to Tim Walz all the way back to 2010. Tim Walz actually hired him on in his position. So yeah, now they're not releasing the manifesto, conveniently enough, but here it is. Minnesota assassin Vance Bolter told the FBI in a letter that Tim Walz asked him to kill Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could take her seat. Wow. So this would tell you exactly why this story has kind of gone away, because we haven't heard much about this story since they found this guy. Now, Tim Walz famously said that he was friends with school shooters. If you remember that, he said that in a debate with J.D. Vance. Now, I as someone that misspeaks a lot, because that's just what we do, it's just kind of strange that he said that, but I try to chalk it up to like, okay, he just misspoke. I can understand what he was trying to say in that moment, because I think what he was trying to say was that he's become friends with victims of school shootings. That's what I think he was trying to say. But now this story's getting weirder. He said to openly bully Donald Trump. He said a lot of things. He celebrated when Tesla stock was tanking. This guy's strange, dude. This guy is very, very strange. So now I have to kind of go back to that and go, maybe I shouldn't have given this guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I should not have given him any benefit of the doubt whatsoever. So if this was surrounding a Republican or even up to Donald Trump, obviously it would Donald Trump, but if this was surrounding a Republican, the mainstream media would be going crazy over this. They would be going absolutely nuts over this. But of course, here we are. Mainstream media is not saying anything about this story, conveniently enough. Isn't that interesting? Yes, stolen valor as well. Yes, 100%. There's a lot of problems with this guy. Now, again, this is the guy that Kamala Harris decided would be her vice presidential choice. This guy. Kamala Harris's vice presidential choice. Could you imagine if this guy was a Kamala Harris heartbeat away from being the most powerful man in the world? And we were not, like, as much as we can look back and go Trump won in a landslide, we weren't that far off. We weren't that far off. That's downright terrifying. So this has been a pretty interesting story that's making the rounds right now. And I guess we're going to see what type of attention will be placed upon it. But yeah, I mean, this is some wild stuff right now. Wild stuff, to say the least. And that's just one part of what's been a pretty crazy day. I thought things were going to calm down. And of course, in the Trump era, you should just know that nothing is going to be calm at all. Nothing. J.D. Vance was in California, and Gavin Newsom is truly one of the most miserable people on the planet. He really is. And this is just pathetic how desperate that Gavin Newsom is. So he sends this tweet out and says, "Hey, J.D. Vance, nice of you to finally make it to California. Since you're so eager to talk about me, how about you say it to my face? Let's debate time and place." Dude, I'm just going to be honest with you. After what we saw Ron DeSantis do to Gavin Newsom, he doesn't stand a chance against J.D. Vance. I mean, it wouldn't even be close. Now, if you remember when Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom had their debate, DeSantis destroyed him. I mean, it was bad. DeSantis destroyed him and made him, I mean, it's not that hard to make him look stupid, Gavin Newsom. But I thought Newsom came off looking terrible in that. And so now with everything going on, I mean, this is pure desperation on Newsom's part, in my opinion. This is pure desperation. And I think this is him continuing to try to position himself for 2028. But maybe I got this one wrong, because before that debate with DeSantis, I was pretty convinced that Newsom would be the What I thought, and I was halfway right, but I ultimately always said that Joe Biden would not be the nominee in 2024. I always said that. I said that way back in like 2022. I said Joe Biden would not be the nominee. If you've been watching this channel for any significant amount of time, you remember that. I was pretty convinced that Biden would not be the nominee. Now, my argument was that Newsom would be the person that they would insert into that role. And ultimately, we saw how this whole thing played out. I don't think they had it as planned out as maybe I was giving the Democrats credit for. I think that they were planning on going with Biden, and then he had that debacle, and they panicked really quickly. And, they went ahead and got rid of Biden and then threw Kamala into that role. And ultimately, here we are. Now, if you look at the polling, Newsom actually does not poll very well at all around the country. He's actually really bad. Now, with that said, the argument against that is that Kamala Harris still got like 70 million votes. And while I question probably a good chunk of those votes not being real votes, the reality of it is there's still a lot of people in this country that are so clueless when it comes to the reality of what's going on, and they hate Donald Trump so much because the media told them to hate Donald Trump, that they would, if Kamala got whatever she got, 74 million votes or whatever it was, if Kamala got that, I think Newsom could probably get more than that. So he is 100% positioning himself. You've got him, and listen, I said this already too, and again, I was right. I've been saying this for a while. Politics is the new WWE, the Attitude Era. That's what we have right now. And it's not slowing down. I mean, Donald Trump has changed politics, at least for the foreseeable future right now. And so you're going to have a Gavin Newsom. You're going to have Stephen A. Smith. You're going to have Mark Cuban. You're going to have these pretty big personalities that are going to be getting involved on the Democratic side into 2028. And then, of course, you have the Republican side, which is going to be dealing with a post-Donald Trump world unless Trump runs in 2028. So we'll see about that. But J.D. Vance seems to be the guy that is in control. And so we shall see. I mean, the fact that Stephen A. Smith is even being considered just kind of tells you really where the Democratic Party is right now. It's not in a good place at all. So, let's see here. Okay, so we also had President Trump today, and we're going to get into that here in just a minute. President Trump took some questions, and we're going to play that here momentarily. Let me catch up on the chat really quick. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. JRG Projects for 20 said, I would do a full audit of the Kamala campaign at this point just to see if, let's see, VB is on the retainer. I can't imagine this was recent. Not with the background VB has. Walz is too much of a pansy to get his hands dirty. I think there needs to be a full-on investigation for Tim Walz first and foremost, and then by extension the Kamala Harris campaign. But at the same time, I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of tired of hearing about investigations. I want to see action. How many times have we heard investigation, and then Ted Cruz will get out there and Ted Cruz will give a passionate speech and he'll talk very passionately about how much he cares and how fed up he is and how the American people are tired of this and how we're sick and tired of this. And he gets all hyped up and then the clips go viral and everybody's like, yeah. And then nothing ever happens. That's pretty much the same song and dance every single time. So we're all kind of tired of that. River Miles says your audio is not at its best, but your skin is glowing. That purple sets a different tone for being trapped in a dungeon. I'm literally in a beautiful house right now. But I am traveling. And I didn't really care about doing like some fancy schmancy setup, really. I was like, here's a wall. I'll throw some lights on the back of the wall. And there it is. So it is what it is. Basket City for 10. Thank you. And thank you, River Miles. I appreciate it, brother. Mike Zero Source, $10 says, let's see, Jeremy, you said if someone told you to hate something, you would likely go against it. Let's put this to test. You would hate gay bats. They are terrible. You would never visit a gay. Oh, you said gay. Well, first you said gay bat. It's like a gay bat. Sounds like a gay bat. Are they turning the bats gay? And then you said you'd never visit a gay bar. I got completely confused. You completely confused me, Mike Zero Source. But I've never been to a gay bar, and I never will go to a gay bar. Actually, I had some friends who told me like that they said that they've picked up chicks at a gay bar. And I was like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know how that played out. I don't want to know what motivated you to go there in the first place. But hey, whatever works, right? Let's see. Did my stream die or something? Like the chat is completely frozen. At least let's see here. Yeah, chat is completely frozen for me, so it's not moving. I hate when the chat gets frozen like this. There we go. Okay. So it yeah, so I'm not sure how that worked out, but congratulations to them. As long as the chicks didn't have any extra equipment, if you know what I mean. It's always a concern, I guess. AJ says the Democrats didn't want kids separated from family, but they never talked about Epstein. What's up, AJ? Dalbro becomes a new member. Thank you. Elite Goose +1 with a 199. Thank you. Golden Nugget says thank you for inspiring me with your intelligent takes and dashing good looks. Yeah, this is a very, very intellectually superior show right here. Dude, like I can tell. I mean, obviously, you've had a huge bump in subscribers and viewers these past couple of weeks, and I really do appreciate all the new viewers. Sarcasm is something I use often. There's really nothing like no amount of insults are going to work on me because I'm just sorry. Like my audience already insults me worse than you would a hater or someone that judges me. Like, so insults don't really work because my audience has already said worse to me. So it really doesn't matter like what, you say from that perspective. You're like, Jeremy's stupid. You're like, that's the nicest thing anyone has said to me all week. Thank you. Like, oh my God, Jeremy, you're so uneducated on politics. And I'm like, that is so nice. Thank you. Like, I could tell you're not normal here because that is the nicest insult I've gotten in weeks. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, whatever. Tired Retro Gamer says, OMG, Tim Walz does know mass shooters, lol. I know. It's crazy. Eric K says, new people, sit back and enjoy. You are listening to the most intelligent, entertaining, fascinating, concise, highly organized streamer on YouTube. Just get ready. Just get ready to be educated around here. Vault 95 says, if you are not being held hostage, say you're gay. The Redneck Cron says, Tim Walz looks like a retarded version of, I can't see what it is, Potato Head, Hail, Chat, and Jeremy the Bent Fig. Eric K says, Tim Walz enjoys stallion milk from the tap. Oh my God. What? Mad Frog says, today Epic Verse ranked the hottest dudes in the MCU, not beating the allegations. You've got to be making this up. Mike probably was involved in that for sure, but there's no way they did that. There's no way. No. Who's the hottest MCU chick, though? Hottest MCU chick. Do you know who it is? I bet nobody can guess who my pick would be. Jackson Press says Dave Smith is right. Thank you, Jackson. Amazing that you're not watching him and watching me instead, though. Well, Jessica Alba is not in the MCU. So Haley Atwell is up there for sure. But let's see. No, you're all wrong. I don't think anybody has said it yet. But my pick is Colleen Wing from Iron Fist. That's right. Colleen Wing from Iron Fist. Oh, that's right. Zoe Zeldana. Zoe Zeldana might be win. Yeah, Green Zoe Zeldana is actually, yeah. It's either Colleen Wing or Zoe Zeldana. So, yeah. Yep. So, a lot of you are asking who? Are you kidding me? There's Colleen Wing right there. Okay. Jessica Henwick is her real name. So there you go. Chat's doing some Googling now, because that's what the chat does. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so Epic Verse, I'm not sure what those guys are up to, but they can go ahead and do their thing, I guess. Congratulations. I guess Epic Mike set that whole thing up. So, let's see. Mike Zero Source says, let's see. Fuck, a typo. I meant gay bar. There goes that joke. But gay bats are terrible too. Yes. Eric K says, Jeremy is a debater. Some would call him a master. Jupiter Knight says, this should be a federal level investigation. Talking about Tim Walz. I agree completely. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the Donald Trump interview that happened right when I ended my stream. So Donald Trump takes questions from the reporters, and this is where we just forget about all the bullshit that's being said on social media and listen to the man himself right here. That's a little loud right there. That's a little loud. Let's wait for Perez to get over here. Let's wait for 47 to get over here.
Rwanda, you know all about Rwanda, and the Congo will be doing a peace settlement, probably coming in on Monday or Tuesday. We're going to be signing it up, and we've stopped a very vicious war. So that was an honor for me to be involved. I want to thank J.D. Vance for a great job, and also our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has done a fantastic job. So Rwanda.
So got another peace deal heading Rwanda. But yes, another peace deal from the peace president right here, President Trump. Another war stopped. That's right.
Long-term war with the Congo, a very bloody war. They're all bloody, but this was a really bloody one. Is going to be making peace with Congo, and they can get on to making trade deals with the United States and other places and have a much more normal form of life. We're very honored by that. As you know, we did a very great job with India and Pakistan, and we had India in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with India. And we had Pakistan in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with Pakistan. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Serbia, Kosovo, likewise, they've been fighting for years. And as you know, we brought that one to a conclusion. And now we have a couple of big ones. We have Russia, Ukraine, which is making a little bit of progress. And we have Israel. And nobody really knows what that one is all about. We're going to find out pretty soon, I guess.
How can you not love this dude for what he's trying to do around the world? I mean, he's already given us 4 years of peace and historic peace deals, and now he's doing it all over again. And so many people are jumping the gun and overreacting and acting like calling him George W. Bush. Like it legitimately pisses me off when people that should know better trying to call him George W. Bush. It's absolutely insane.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
What was the thought process behind 2 week timetable?
Just a time to see whether or not people come to their senses. So,
Did the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
no, they didn't help. No.
20,
Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us.
No, they didn't help at all. They don't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us.
Europe is not going to be able to help in this one.
20 years ago, you were skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked a Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. You know, there was a nuclear age, but nothing like it is today. And it looked like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already. It's a tremendous amount of material. And I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen. I was very much opposed to Iraq. I said it loud and clear, but I was a civilian, but I guess I got a lot of publicity. But I was very much opposed to the Iraq war. And I actually did say, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. But I said, if you're going to go in, keep the oil. But they didn't do that.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
So that situation we're going to discuss a little bit further because Tulsi Gabbard has directly responded to that. And very, very interesting to say the least. So we're going to get into that.
Is the Chinese in any way helping Iran at this moment? Clearing reports of serious planes landing in Iran from China?
They say that they're there to take people out, but I can't tell you about that. I get along very well with China, get along very well with President Xi. I like him. He likes.
Matter of fact, because I know a lot of people are really curious about that. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that. So let's back it up here just a hair and hear what he had to say about that. Let's see. Do I have will that work on here? Probably won't, not with this keyboard.
Me.
Oh my God. All right, let's see here. Right here. Okay.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
And boom. And he said it just like that. Now, the Rapid Response 47 account did tweet about this. I'm trying to find it right now. And yeah, I mean, it may sound like there's issues, but there's not. There's no issues at all. And right here. So Tulsi tweets about it and says, the dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks to months. If they decide to finalize the assembly, President Trump has been clear that can't happen. And I agree. My full testimony below. Now, I have heard a lot of people using this as an argument against Trump, even Trump people that are claiming that George W. Bush and Trump are the same person now. So let's actually listen to what she actually says.
Iran continues to seek expansion of its influence in the Middle East, despite the degradation to its proxies and defenses during the Gaza conflict. Iran has developed and maintains ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, including systems capable of striking U.S. targets and allies in the region. Tehran has shown a willingness to use these weapons, including during a 2020 attack on U.S. forces in Iraq and in attacks against Israel in April and October 2024. Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei.
So a lot of people get caught up on that right there. The intelligence community, IC intelligence community, that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. That's what they have the conclusion they've come to. This was whatever 3-4 months ago. I can't remember. That's what everyone was holding on to. Okay. Listen to what she says in the end. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
Interesting right there. What did she say? Let's hear that one more time since no one else is listening, apparently.
Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
Unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons. So that is a huge red flag. Now, again, I'm not advocating that we go to war with Iran. I'm not. I don't want us involved in this shit at all. But the bullshit that's out there and the spin that people are doing the thing, like they literally did to Tulsi, what the both good people on both sides, they did to Trump, where they took a section out and built a narrative around it without leaving the rest of the context in there. It's crazy.
Iran will likely continue efforts to counter Israel and press for U.S. military withdrawal from the region by aiding, arming, and helping to reconstitute its loose consortium of like-minded terrorists and militant actors, which it refers to as its axis of resistance. Although weakened, this collection of actors still presents a wide range of threats, including to Israel's population, U.S. forces deployed in Iraq and Syria, and to U.S. and international military and commercial shipping and transit.
So that's the full clip that she posted. And then Rapid Response 47 says, Tulsi Gabbard's testimony has consistently backed up President Trump's position, and shame on the media for trying to twist it and misrepresent the truth. Fact. Tulsi testified that Iran has produced levels of enriched uranium that is unprecedented for a nation without nuclear weapons. Fact. If Iran decides to finalize its assembly, the weapon would be weeks away from being operational. So those are the facts right there. That's it. Those are the facts. So going back to Trump's, interview here, this was all like right before a lot of that was released, and probably Trump looked into it, yada, yada, yada. So there is the full context to that so that no one is confused.
President, Chinese in any way helping Iran at this moment? Hearing reports of serious planes landing in Iran from China?
They say that they're there to take people out, but I can't tell you about that. I get along very well with China, get along very well with President Xi. I like him. He likes me. We have a very good relationship. We'll see what happens. I can't imagine them getting involved.
The decision that you need to make on Iran, whether to strike militarily, is this the biggest decision you'll have to make as president?
Well, I can't tell you that. I have to see what happens. I can't, really say that. It depends what the decision is.
See, this is the thing, man. Donald Trump, not only just as president, but Donald Trump has been doing this his entire life. And this is what is so frustrating as people that overreact to it. Trump does not give you the cards. He holds the cards and he plays the cards when he needs to. He's not going to give the media details that he can use in a negotiation. He's never done this. He's always been like this. He always plays games with the media. He always spins things for the media. This is what he does. This is what he's done his entire life. This is Donald Trump. And anybody overreacting to this is emotionally reacting and not listening and paying attention.
But I wouldn't really be able to tell you that now. I'll tell you in about a year from now, maybe 5 years or 10 years from now. You never know about decisions. You never really know.
Sir, would you support a ceasefire while the negotiations happen?
I might, depending on the circumstances.
Would you?
It's very hard to stop. I will say this. It's very hard to stop when you look at it. Israel's doing well in terms of war. And I think you would say that Iran is doing less well. It's a little bit hard to get somebody to stop.
Iran is doing less well. Who talks like this? Who talks like this? Iran is doing less well. Holy shit.
Liam Cosgrove was here. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz threw out an interesting idea suggesting that if you were to broker a deal where nuclear inspectors go into both Israel and Iran, that you could win a Nobel Peace Prize, and they might even rename it the Trump Peace Prize. Did you hear those? What do you think of that?
Well, they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda. And if you look,
here he goes. Dude, see, Matt Gaetz knows Trump very well. And so for Matt Gaetz to say that if Trump pulls this off, they may just rename the Nobel Peace Prize to the Trump Peace Prize. And Trump will hear that and he'll go, I could get it named after me. I may just, and that would literally motivate Trump to just do it. Cause he's like, if I could get him to name it after me, I may just do it.
That you could win a Nobel Peace Prize, and they might even rename it the Trump Peace Prize. Did you hear those? What do you think of that?
Well, they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda. And if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one too. They won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
Would you support Iran being able to have nuclear, or would you support Iran being able to have civilian?
Well, he just, what was it? Was it Pakistan? I think it was Pakistan just, let me see if I can find the tweet. Yeah, right here. Pakistan officially recommends President Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Let's freaking go. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, wow, a twofer. I think you should go more purple color for your mood lighting. Thank you, John. Good to see you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the support. Peter Go Hogs for 50 says, Iran be shitting. Our president has 34 felonies. He raped a chick years ago. He's attacking and deporting American citizens. The military is, arresting American civilians. The Democrat accusations, Trump is using the Dems to his advantage. Thank you, Peter. Oh, man. Yeah. Actually, they're probably like, dude, he's got 34 felonies. He grabbed chicks by the pussy. We don't want to mess around with this guy. And Trump loves that narrative. The more they make Trump out to be this ultimate godfather gangster mentality, like Trump loves that because he's like, yeah, the more they think I'm crazy, the more I can negotiate and they're going to think that I'm unhinged. It's perfect for him. It's perfect. So that's why I don't think he really even minds any of the nonsense that they throw at him because he just uses it to his advantage. Olympian product for 20 says, to be fair, you have to be a very high IQ. You have to be very IQ to understand Cobra Cast 199. The humor is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of I can't even say the word. Theoretical physics, Jesus. Most of the jokes will go over a typical viewer's head. That is actually not wrong. I've talked about this many times. So when it comes to Cobra Cast, there's so many inside jokes. And it's not just Cobra Cast, by the way. It's Geeks and Gamers. It's Geeks and Gamers Play. It's kind of our whole little sphere. But there's so many little nuances that goes with it. And people that don't know anything about what we do, they come into these chats and they're going, is this guy gay? Everybody's calling him gay. Why is everybody calling this guy gay? What's the 199? What is this? Why are people like all these things like IDOTs? Why are people calling this guy an IDOT? Do they mean idiot or do they mean IDOT? And like it's just weird stuff, all the memes that happen. Like again, Epic Mike's nickname went from Meek because of Krista to now it's Meeky. Now it's Smeeky because the Smeagol element. Evolution, man. We have a crazy, Mage IDOT of the 199. Like we have there's just a lot of stuff going on here. So you're not wrong, Olympian product. You're actually not wrong at all. So I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the 20. Patriotic Eagle says, just my take, but remember when the media tried to drive a wedge between Elon and Trump? That's what I see with him and Tulsi. Just my view, but we will see what happens. Hail the 199, baby. Agreed. They're always trying to drive a wedge in between Trump and his allies. I agree with you. I agree with you. But I also think that they're using that Tulsi clip to attempt to drive a wedge into MAGA supporters as well. And unfortunately, a lot of them are falling for it. A lot of people are running with this. Trump is a warmonger narrative, and it sucks. It sucks, So Donald Herb says, I saw a Facebook post combining a bunch of numbers and was asking how many there was. One guy said 199, and I don't know if it was a reference, LOL, but I want to believe. It's weird because when I started doing the 199 thing, there was a guy on YouTube that he made a video and he went way super autistic into it and drew all of these parallels about the reason that I've created this 199, and he brought awesome guy into it and beardo and not having a beard, and he used all these numbers and equations and all this shit, and I'm like, it was just a misspelling in a chat that I took advantage of, man. That's it. That's all it was. It's not that complicated, but I appreciate he basically went full Scott Steiner. He went Steiner math. It was wild. And I appreciate the effort. I do. Donald Herb says on a Twitter post about Elon's daughter, I said it's Elon's son and pissed off a bunch of people. Someone then said to me, imagine liking Assassin's Creed, but not trans people. I'm trying to unpack what that meant. Yeah. Again, man, being on Twitter, it's just, I don't know. It's gotten really crazy lately. It's gotten a lot worse lately for sure. And that's why I tend to just kind of stay out of a lot of the discussions because it is crazy. And occasionally I'll see the comment and I'm like, I want to respond to that, but I end up not doing it because it's not worth it. It's not worth the fight at all. Let's continue with President Trump.
Nuclear energy capabilities up to 3.76%.
They're sitting on the top of one of the largest piles of oil in the world. I just don't know why they need that for civilian work. It's one thing for certain countries to say, hey, I want to have a certain amount where I can go nuclear a little bit because we need it for electricity, we need it for air conditioners, etc. But when you're sitting on one of the largest oil piles anywhere in the world, it's a little bit hard to see why you need that. Yeah.
Are you concerned that Iran or its proxies would wage terror attacks against American targets abroad if you order military action?
We're always concerned about that, and we have to take them out and be very strong. You're even in danger talking to me right now. Do you know that? You are in danger talking to me right now. So I should probably get out of here, but you guys are actually in danger. Can you believe it?
One more. Is it still your expectation that NATO countries spend 5% of their GDP on defense spending?
Well, I think they should do that. I don't think we should, but I think they should. We've been supporting NATO so long. In many cases, I believe paying almost 100% the cost. So I don't think we should, but I think that the NATO countries should. Absolutely.
We need to meme him, the Walter White scene. I am the danger. Because that's Trump. He is the danger.
What? Like Spain decides not to?
Well, NATO's going to have to deal with Spain. Spain's been a very low payer. They were always a very low payer. They were either good negotiators or they weren't doing the right thing. I mean, I think Spain has to pay what everybody else has to pay. Spain has been notorious for low pay. You know who else was a low payer? Just about the lowest? A place called Canada. Because Canada said, why should we pay when the United States will protect us free? And they've been right about that.
ICE.
Ukraine, you've been making progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see, and people have to be very careful with what they say. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth could get them into a lot of trouble.
One more. ICE.
Whoa, hold on. Did that person say Lindsey Graham?
And they've been right about that.
ICE.
Ukraine, you've been making progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see, and people have to be very careful with what they say. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth could get them into a lot of trouble.
Wow. Holy shit. The boss ain't playing. Mike Pompeo and Lindsey Warmonger Graham. Trump just told them straight up, watch your mouth. Friggin' love it.
One more. ICE. ICE has said that they're trying to arrest up to 3,000 individuals a day. There are some communities that are saying they are fearful of being wrongfully detained or separating some families, even if they're undocumented. Is the fear in some of these communities worth the deportations of these undocumented individuals, a mass deportation program?
It's a tough subject because, look, we have farmers. I love farmers. I won 80%, 85% of the farmers, and I love them. And I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers. And you can also say the leisure business, etc. There are some businesses where you have a disproportionate amount of people that are the people that you're talking about. At the same time, we have to get the criminals out of our country. And we're looking at doing something where, in the case of good, reputable farmers, they can take responsibility for the people that they hire and let them have responsibility, because we can't put the farms out of business. And at the same time, we don't want to hurt people that aren't criminals. Most of the people that came in over the last 3 years under Biden, I would say probably 3.5 to 4 years. Those people, you have a lot of criminals. You have a lot of, we're looking at that very closely. You've had people that have worked on farms for 20 years. It's very hard to go in there and say, you're coming out. But we're going to let the farmers take responsibility. They're great people. They'll do it. They know the good and the bad. So the hard part about this is not like a normal war where people wear uniforms. They don't wear uniforms. But we have murderers that came out of the last 4 years. We have murderers. We have drug lords. We have people that we don't want to. We have prisoners. They emptied out Venezuela and many countries. They emptied out their prisons into the United States. We have to get those people out. But we have stone cold murders, 11,888 murders. We've already gotten a lot of them out of here, but we don't want them. So we have to be careful. But I never want to hurt our farmers. Our farmers are great people. They keep us happy and healthy and fat.
Are there other cities that you're going to try to replicate what you've done in Los Angeles?
Well, we had a big victory last night in the Court of Appeals with respect to Los Angeles, but really the country, where Gabbard Newsom, who's really an incompetent governor, he's just doing a terrible job between his fires, between all the houses burning down, his forest fires, and now Los Angeles. If we didn't go to Los Angeles, and the sheriff admitted it, he had no control. He would have lost control. We saved Los Angeles by having the military go in. And the second night was much better. The third night was nothing much. And the fourth night, nobody bothered even coming. We put out that fire. We did a great job of it. He sued us for going in and for helping him. We went and helped him. Right now, you'd have Los Angeles burning to the ground. Largely, it would have already been destroyed.
So do you think deportations should...
I just love how he just doesn't miss a beat. Like when it comes to like insulting whoever who he doesn't like, he just doesn't miss a beat. And he just goes right in and just destroys him. But then a lot of times after he insults them, he goes, he's a nice guy and I like him, but he's just an incompetent loser. He's terrible at his job, but he's a nice guy. I like him.
Maker, you worry that striking Iran would change that?
Always a peacemaker. That doesn't mean sometimes you need some toughness to make peace, but always a peacemaker.
Can you win in Iran without ground forces?
Dad?
Is an aerial campaign in Iran enough, or do you need ground forces?
Well, I'm not going to talk about ground forces. The last thing you want to do is ground forces.
Does Iran have?
Thank goodness that is the answer that a lot of us have been wanting to hear. So let's back that up one more time for those in the back. Let's hear it one more time.
But always a peacemaker.
Can you win in Iran without ground forces?
Dad?
Is an aerial campaign in Iran enough, or do you need ground forces?
Well, I'm not going to talk about ground forces. The last thing you want to do is ground forces.
Does Iran have 2 weeks, or could you strike before that? Are you essentially giving them a 2-week timeline?
I'm giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time. And
so one thing about Trump is that he does not like to say something that will put him in, will compromise him in the future. So for him to say that we're not even like, that's not something we're even going to talk about. Like normally in that situation, he would like to keep his options open and he would say, well, I'm not going to get into strategy and things like that. We're hoping we can make a peace deal, but we're going to, the fact that he specifically said no ground forces is kind of a big deal because he normally does not do that. He normally does not show his hand at all. So there you go. And not that I was worried about that, but that is the big deal to me. Like not having troops on the ground is a huge problem. So, or him putting troops on the ground will be a huge problem. So I'm glad that he said that.
I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Mr. President, do you think deportation should focus on criminals or all people who are here illegally?
Should start focusing on criminals, and that's what we've been focused on. Very bad criminals, dangerous criminals.
But Stephen Miller said to go out and arrest every person who's here illegally. He's told ICE to arrest everyone who's here illegally.
Stephen and I have a very good understanding. He is a terrific person. We have a great understanding.
Mr. President, if there is an attack on U.S. assets, will you promise to conduct a full investigation and make it transparent with the American people before blaming Iran for such an attack?
Well, if there's an attack, we'll know almost immediately with modern equipment who made the attack. And those people will be very, very unhappy.
Prime Minister,
I want to get you people out of danger. You're in danger standing with me.
One more. Prime Minister Netanyahu said that they had the capacity to take out all of Iran's nuclear facilities. So what role would the U.S. be able to play, and why would they, if Israel says that they have all of the abilities, their own military?
I'm not sure he said that, but they really have a very limited capacity. They can break through a little section, but they can't go down very deep. They don't have that capacity, and we'll have to see what happens. Maybe it won't be necessary. Maybe it won't be necessary.
Would you like to see Congress pass a bill that bans child transgender surgeries?
Well, I know they're talking about it, aren't they? We're going to have to see how it comes to me in what form. Certainly, it's been something I've been talking about also. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it.
All right, there we go. So straight from the man himself, President Trump, taking questions. And I think it's a perfect time for me to play one of my favorite clips of any movie ever. And it would be this clip right here. I got to find it. So this is where I am with a lot of this. Ultimately, this is a clip from one of my favorite movies, Crimson Tide, with the late, great Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman truly is a legend, truly one of the greatest. And this point right here with Denzel and what he says, I think puts it into perspective. Let me see where it's at. I can't play much of this clip, so it's got to be quick. But I will say, and this isn't spoil anything in the movie if you've never seen it, so you won't get spoiled by anything. But what I will tell you is, if you have never seen Crimson Tide, you're probably never going to see better acting in any movie because you have Gene Hackman at the top of his game and you have Denzel Washington at the top of his game. And you still, James Gandolfini is in this. There are so many actors in this. And it really is an incredible movie.
No, that's what I'd agree that
most likely to win the war is the one most willing to part company with the politicians and ignore everything except the destruction of the enemy. That you'd agree with that?
I'd agree that that's what Clausewitz was trying to say.
But you wouldn't agree with it?
No, sir. No, I just think that in the nuclear world, true enemy can't be destroyed.
This is so freaking good. This is so
And
good.
Clausewitz will now tell us exactly who the real enemy is. Fun.
In my humble opinion, in the nuclear world, the true enemy is war itself.
So good, man. So good. I freaking love this movie so much. And again, I would recommend all of you, if you have not seen it, you should watch Party Win. Hey, after we watch Band of Brothers, we can watch Crimson Tide if you want. So again, this Thursday, planning on doing we're starting the Band of Brothers watch party on Locals with our members. I have never seen it. So that starts this Thursday. And when it's done, maybe we can watch Crimson Tide, one of my favorite movies right there. So, okay, let me get to some of these super chats really quickly. Too Tired says, they'll just out Comey's daughter on it to bury it. Solo Felix says, Tampon Tim can't keep away from the horse stables. Escapo says, I demand an investigation into Geeks and Gamers over Epic Mike smuggling stolen commemorative coins in his bum. Space Comma Digger says, every bar Jeremy enters becomes a gay bar. Double Hawk says, Jeremy, you are awesome. You are an awesome person and an inspiration to countless up and coming YouTubers. Hey, if I can help you get your channel started, I am 100% okay with that. If I can help motivate anybody, if you think that, and again, my goal is for you to look at me and go, if somebody this retarded can be successful on YouTube, I can do it too. That's kind of what I'm looking to help you guys do. I want you to go, I'm not retarded, but that guy on YouTube is retarded. So if he's that retarded and he can do something, then I've got a shot. So that's the way you got to look at it. Then Hawkins says, Jeremy, never been to a gay bar. Also, Jeremy, I love the Blue Oyster. Vader Mike says, in gay bat voice, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman. Yes, do the voice, do the voice. I can't do the lispy voice on command, man. I can't. I don't have the ability to do it. Like, it just has to happen, like in the middle of me making fun of somebody or something like that. D-Day Cobra didn't Disparu credit you for getting him started. Well, Disparu was already started, but he didn't have any subscribers, and in a drunken frustration, he randomly DMs me. I had no idea who he is. He DM'd me on Twitter. He's basically like, my videos are good. Nobody watches them. He was just ranting. And this was like our first interaction. And so I just clicked on it and I looked at his videos and I was like, this guy makes phenomenal videos. Holy shit. Like, he really does. He makes great videos. And so I reached out to him. And so, we brought him in and did some stuff with him. Disparu's done awesome. So he really did blow up. So Disparu makes great content. So, and I'm always happy. I never get like, I don't know, man. People that get jealous on YouTube are I don't know. It's a strange fascination. It's a strange dynamic out there. But like for me, I'm just happy that I have what I have. I'm happy to help other people. When my friends, when their channels blow up, I think that's awesome. I don't feel that I'm entitled to anything, and vice versa. There's people that helped me that are, like, it's just how it is, man. But it's awesome to see people blow up like that. So Mad Frog says, Trump bringing up how he was against the Iraq war proves he is listening to his anti-war base. Bringing that up is him trying to dispel the warmonger allegations. Can't get complacent. Well, I mean, Trump always listens, and that's just normal. Trump does listen. That's nothing new. What I'm seeing is that the people that are out there calling him George W. Bush are claiming that they should get credit for Trump backing down or whatever. And that's just 100% bullshit. Trump doesn't listen to nonsense like that. But I'm glad his base is collectively being critical of him. But yeah, people that are going off the deep end and making ridiculous claims, I promise you, Trump ain't listening and nobody's calling him George W. Bush. Not happening at all. But yeah, he absolutely listens to his base for sure. Dark Schwartz Rising for 20 says, what a Band of Brothers watch party. Hell yes. Best series ever. That's what I've heard by a lot of people. That's what I've heard. Let's see. Is it Unky James for 5 gifted memberships? Let's go. Thank you, brother. You've donated in the past too, man. I appreciate that. Donald Herb says the whole Trump warmonger thing is definitely people too emotional reacting to news straight away. The war with Iran was a day old and people cried World War III. It's dumb. Calm down. Let things let things sit a little. Yes, I agree completely. And again, people can react however they want. I just don't have. That doesn't mean I have to listen to it because I don't. Maito says Jeremy loves compliments. I prefer insults. Mr. No One says Jeremy is so straight that he gets the chat questioning their straightness. I lose for says Hail Jeremy. Epic Mike, more like epic. Good Lord, you guys are ridiculous. Olympian Product says Jeremy may be gay, but Fox News is genuinely infuriating. I'm sick of them beating the war drums just like they did in 2003. Same. Mr. Owen, Fox News called out, or Trump called out Fox News multiple times lately. Mr. No One says, fuck, I meant there, not there. Destroy me, chat. That's okay. You guys misspell shit all the time. It makes me sound like an idiot. And to be fair, I do a good enough a job of sounding like an idiot on my own. I don't need your help, but it's okay. Mike Zero Source says, I'll own this. Please feel free to sell gay bats merchandise. Golden Nugget says, no hate, Jeremy. We do like to troll a little around here. I don't think you're too dumb. My nephew's still ill. Possible tonsillitis. Poor little guy. Sorry to hear that, brother. We do like to do a little trolling. Prayers up for you and your family. Alex McCarthy says, don't be a panicking. Hayden Wayne for 50 says MAGA being critical of Trump right now is actually a good thing. When I heard that he was saying, I said, I hope he really sees something more than I do, but I don't know that this is the right strategy. I'm trusting him, but worried. He does listen. Absolutely. And thank you, Hayden. I hope you're doing well, brother. Yeah, look, Trump listens. He absolutely listens. And he's constantly looking at the situation. He has exceptional instincts. This is just who he is. And yeah, a lot of people are really, really emotionally reacting. And I see it in my comment section. I see it in my Twitter replies. I see people saying, oh, Jeremy just, he'll just glaze Trump no matter what he does. And so I can tell that these are people that don't really watch my channel. They just are reacting because they see that I am a Trump supporter, which I am. And they think that I'm never critical of Trump, which I am critical of Trump because there's things to criticize President Trump over. Done it plenty of times. I'll continue to do it. But I don't need to prove anything to someone that's not willing to do any research whatsoever before making blanket accusations against not only me. I mean, there's people who are calling Steve Bannon a Trump turncoat. I'm like, what are you talking about? Steve Bannon went to jail for President Trump. What are you talking about? So these are people on the complete, ridiculous side where they're just so pro-Trump that they think, if you criticize Trump at all, you're turning on him. It's like, you're calling Steve Bannon a turncoat on Trump? Are you kidding me right now? No. The dude went to prison for Trump. Steve Bannon is not turning on Trump. Let's see. Black Kane says, us, the chat, and Jeremy, a homosexual man, have relationship to toxic. So toxic, it makes Sid and Nancy look like June and Ward Cleve. Beardo fat. Polite Rude Guy says, Trump 2028, Donald J. Trump, 4 more years, MAGA. Shadow Saiyan says, Tulsi Gabbard is the hottest character in the MCU. She's pretty hot. River Miles says, President Trump starting to look like Yarmir Yager getting some hockey hair curl. You know, if I didn't pay attention to sports back then, I would have never known how to say that name. If it was just said right there, and that's the first time, I would have never known how to say that. But luckily, I do follow sports. So could you imagine trying to say that without knowing? Gyromir Jagger, like, yeah, that would be insane for somebody that doesn't know it. Jupiter Knight says the 2-time president and 34-time felon Donald John Trump MAGA. Let's see here. Let me. Ryan Miller says if President Trump pulls this off and wins the Nobel Peace Prize, the media is going to have a colossal meltdown and the tears will be amazing. Wizard Man says, Hale just ordered my Uncle IDOT shirt. Yes, actually, I need to show that to the chat. I don't know if any mods have dropped it. Mods, if you can drop that link, I will post it up. But thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it turns out good. It is through Teespring. I hope they do a good job. Nader's Brick Channel says Beardo went to Slodo. Dan's feet obsessiveness. Memes all around, and we still come back for more. There is a ton of memes around here. Thank you, mods. You guys are the best. You guys crush it, man. There's the Uncle IDOT shirt that I believe this Thursday or Friday is when the campaign closes. So you got a little more time. Donald Herb says, anything interesting come out of Canada and the G7? There was a couple of deals made. I think the most interesting thing was that Trump left early and then took shots at Macron after he left, which was totally hilarious that he did that. So I thought that was funny as hell. We Too Dumb says, he said Tulsi is wrong. He needs to shut his mouth. Well, I think he was more so responding to the report that they were saying, but it's clear that him and Tulsi are on the same page. Sir Ruinhouse Roundhead says, I think we are getting to the point where you don't even need ground forces for war, at least not actual people, more like robots and drones. We are kind of close to that. That is true. Eric K says, everyone knows Kirby Silver Surfer is the best Silver Surfer. Denzel Washington Crimson Tide, that surfer. Yeah, that was like a moment where if it would connect to the audience, because like Denzel in the movie is like this super brilliant guy, but then he makes comments about like comic book characters. It makes him relatable in the movie. Crimson Tide doesn't get mentioned as much as I think it should. It's really weird because it's such a phenomenal movie. Donald Herb says, holy crap, people actually will argue there is no evidence of 2020 election fraud, but say unironically that Trump and Musk stole 2024. Yes, absolutely. People are dumb. Let's see. Calmum says, Band of Brothers is my favorite piece of media ever. Just absolutely excellent. I'm looking forward to watching it, man. I can't wait. Dan says, the thing the left fears the most is Trump's success. True. Sola Felix, let's see, says 1981, Das Boot. The Boat is a great submarine movie. I haven't seen that one. Modest Rat says, sup, Gay Remy. Keep up the good work. Here's a few bucks. Also, please tell Beardo he's gay and never stop reminding him. Thank you. Johnny says, Trump is the master at psychological warfare. He brings the big stick first, then sees all the mice going crazy. He is just hoping for a regime change in Iran. Axel Jensen says, did you see the Minnesota shooter implicated Walz? I did. We covered that first thing when the stream started. Matt Frog says, how many times will you watch Ironheart? 0. I mean, look, at this point, man, I got to get back into covering entertainment, man, but I'll be honest, I'm fucking tired of the woke Hollywood bullshit. I just don't fucking care, man. Like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like, it's all dog shit for the most part. There's some good stuff, but I enjoy the discussion around James Gunn's Superman because it feels like a real nerd discussion, you know? Like, it feels like a real nerd discussion with that. And that makes me happy to have a real nerd discussion. But yeah, like I don't, all this other shit is just like, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Hollywood is a piece of shit. They suck. We know that. And like even today, like Star Wars, the fucking Rey movie gets I guess shelved for now. And maybe I'll just make Mario Kart World videos on the channel, on the Main Geeks and Gamers channel that'll get like 2,000 views. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just start recording my Mario Kart World footage with me just rambling about random shit. And then I'll upload that to the main channel. I don't know. I think I got to start doing something on the main channel because I've fallen off over there for sure. So let's see. I lose for says 6-letter word starting with S ending in Y. Sodomy. There you go. Peter Go Hawk says Steve Bannon, the man, the made man in the Trump administration. You can't go to prison with your mouth about not being serious. Okay, hang on. You can't go to prison with your mouth about and not become respected man in this administration. That last part was tough to get through, brother. Okay. That last part was a little tough to get through. I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Thank you though for the super chat. You sent 50 earlier, so who cares, right? We can't complain. All right. We can't complain. But thank you. Learn to speak proper. Why? The moment I start speaking proper is the moment people stop watching me. See, look at this. Like I see shit like this, like on my timeline. Look at this. Iranian media claims they shot down an Israeli F-35. This is what I'm seeing on my timeline right now. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? There's no point to even, like, Twitter is such a shit show right now. So, PS1 graphics. Yeah, pretty much. If you missed it earlier, though. Oh, wait, hang on. What is this? What is Alex Jones has been on some shit lately, man. What is Trump? What is he talking about right here?
I've had enough of the ignorance. How many times have I broken news before anybody else? How many times have I been right? I told you 15 years ago.
Let's be fair. Again, I like Alex Jones. But Brendan Dilley from the Dilley meme team re-uploaded a clip from my buddy, Robert Barnes, okay? And I like Robert Barnes. Robert Barnes was sitting in Alex Jones' studio, and I remember this because I covered it. And Robert said that it's a done deal, that DeSantis is Trump's running mate. It's a done deal. And Alex Jones sat there beside him and says, "You're hearing that? Because that's what I'm hearing too. My sources, but you have more information." And when I heard Alex Jones say that, and I'm like, no, you don't. Like, why are you saying that? Like, so right when Robert says it's a done deal, and Alex says, "Oh, you're hearing that? Oh, yeah. I've got sources on that too." And I was like, oh my God. As a matter of fact, let me, just so you know, and again, I'm not trying to take shots at Robert Barnes because I like Robert. Robert's been a great friend. But it's like, it's more so like how Alex played off of it. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Let me see if I can find this. I'll have to scroll his timeline for a minute. He tweets a lot, though. The Dilley meme team guy, he tweets that shit a lot. And it was really bad. And it was bad because, I remember covering it, but it was more so Alex acting like here it is. Here's the clip right here. Here's the clip. So right here. Watch how Alex plays off of it and outs like he has sources on it too.
Not only declare his candidacy, make it clear. Also, that gives Trump a political edge. When
they'll have trouble indicting him.
They'll have trouble indicting him. Not only that, it will also bring that when there's a wave of support of populist candidates in 2022, Trump can partially take credit for it by announcing his campaign and co-campaigning.
I agree. So who's his running mate?
My understanding is it's already decided. It's going to be DeSantis. DeSantis is not going to challenge or contest Trump, and Trump is quietly.
Well, so that's huge. That's what I've heard. You have more context than I do.
Where have you heard that, Alex? Because it's not true. So, like, the fact that he did that is like he tried to pretend like he had sources that were saying the same thing too. It's like, what are you talking about? Where is this coming from?
Challenge or contest Trump, and Trump is quietly.
Well, so that's huge. That's what I've heard. You have more context than I do. DeSantis is ready to get behind Trump.
Oh yeah, in fact, he's already made that agreement. That agreement's already been made. So unless Trump
we'll spend more time on that. That's
sure. Well, okay, yeah. So I mean, it's DeSantis is a very politically savvy, smart guy. He knows that Trump can only run for one term. So this is.
So I'm not here to drag Robert on this. Robert's awesome, but and Alex, I like Alex too, but that when he said that, I was just like, what are you talking about? You've heard that too? So let's hear what Alex is saying right here.
I've had enough of the ignorance. How many times have I broken news before anybody else? How many times have I been right? I told you 15 years ago, I learned directly from the people that saw the evidence in CENTCOM that they've got ground sensors, let's just leave it at that are in Iran. They can drive around and fly around and scoop up everything in the air and know what level of uranium enrichment and other things they're enriching, other radioactive compounds, fissile material. And then I made calls and talked to people over the years, and they're like, yeah, how do you know that? You're not supposed to know that. So you got Netanyahu 25 years ago saying they're 2 weeks away. They weren't really 2 weeks away, but within 15 years ago, they got it. And now you see the CIA going, oh, Mr. President, if you go to full war with them, they'll go ahead and finish their bomb. Then Mossad said today they're 2 weeks again out. So the Iranians didn't.
I can confirm that. I work for Mossad, so I can confirm that. This is all according to the chat. The people in the chat claim that I work for Mossad, so I did. Even though I didn't know what it was and I had to Google it. And then they got mad because they said, I can't believe this guy admitted he didn't know what Mossad was. How stupid is he? And my response was, how stupid are you that you accused someone that was so stupid that I didn't know what Mossad was, but yet you thought I was so educated that you accused me of working for them. So who's the fucking idiot? Who's retarded now?
Go the route of North Korea bragging they got nukes and showing it off. They've had them for a long time. And people go, well, wait, you're now saying Israel should strike them if they got a bomb. No, that's why they shouldn't. The same reason we don't attack North Korea. We can beat them in a nuclear war, but everybody loses and it creates a chain reaction. Tulsi's great. She's doing off the official assessment she's got. She's only been in there, like 80, 90 days or whatever. And she's going off official assessment she has, not off all the hidden intel. Official assessments of the worst information there is. So when Trump says Tulsi's wrong, they're building a bomb and they're about to have it. No, they got it. And they demonstrated last year that they can hit Israel and get through their defenses with those ballistic missiles. It means they can hit them with a bomb. Israel's argument is take them out then.
I appreciate that Alex Jones is making car videos, by the way. Pre-read your last super, Hayden. Okay, I got you, brother. I appreciate that Alex Jones is making car videos right now.
No, you don't do that because if you put them against the wall, they'll launch their atomic weapons and Israel will obliterate them with better, more high-tech systems they've had since the 60s, but it won't matter. It's like the War Games movie from the 80s, a strange game. Only way to win is not to play. Only way to win is not to play. So that's where we are. And again, this is out of control. I'm glad Trump put a 2-week moratorium on striking Iran. Iran's very belligerent because they can block Strait of Hormuz and drive up oil prices massively and tank the world economy and kill Trump's recovery. So I don't know what we should specifically do, but everybody should take a deep breath here that's got war fever and just understand this is dangerous. Bannon literally doesn't brag about it, but it's admitted from sources that's what happened. He went in there and talked Trump down yesterday from striking him basically today. So we need more of what Bannon did and less of what Netanyahu's pushing. I don't want Israel to be blown off the map. I don't have some existential hatred of Israel. This is all interconnected. But I do not like the leadership of Israel, and Netanyahu's in political trouble and wants to continue to use crises to stay in power. Same thing with Zelensky and NATO and the EU is collapsing. So they want a war with Russia to prop themselves up. I don't hate the people of Europe, but I don't like their leadership. So I've been vindicated again. Hopefully we got a reprieve at least a week or so. But more aircraft carriers are showing up at Gerald R. Ford and others. So this is spiraling out of control very, very quickly. Pray for peace, and people better research this. It's not just are you for Iran, are you for Israel? No, if you look at the different ramifications of this, there are so many. But now the CIA is like, whoa.
Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of people have missed on this situation, and a lot of people, because it's basically team sports for a lot of people. There are people that it's kind of like, I don't think that there's many people out there that are pro-Iran, but I think what has happened is it's almost like back in the day when the New England Patriots were in the Super Bowl, and then whoever the Patriots were against, because so many people hated the Patriots, that they became fans of that team because they were against the Patriots. So you have people that aren't necessarily pro-Iran, they're just anti-Israel. So by default, they're pro-Iran. And then, of course, you have the other side that are like, oh, we love Israel, blah, blah, blah. So it's team sports from that perspective. And what gets lost in all of this is that ultimately, there are bigger ramifications than your favorite team. That's ultimately the problem. There are huge ramifications that, oh my God, I got to respond to this message. There are huge ramifications that go beyond your favorite team. And that's what a lot of people, God, all right, there, got it updated. Always working, always something going on. I had to approve something. But, so that's what Donald Trump is dealing with right now, is the ramifications throughout the world that will ultimately come from whatever happens here. And many people are missing that nuance and those details because they're so caught up in whatever they feel is the home team or the anti-home team or whatever they're cheering for. And all they want is for Donald Trump to do exactly what they want. And if Donald Trump does do exactly what they want and how it affects what they want, then they think Donald Trump is the most evil person in the world. Meanwhile, the dude is dealing with, huge decisions that are on his plate right now with huge ramifications all over the place. And Donald Trump is not a war president. He is not a warmonger. You cannot like him for a plethora of reasons, but he's not a warmonger. And you're retarded if you imply that he is a warmonger. That's just the truth of it right there.
Oh, we shouldn't strike Iran. They'll finish their bombs. They'll be cornered and use them. Finish their bombs. Maybe they're not all put together, but we know they've got the fissile material and a lot of it. Got it? Once you have the fissile material, building a bomb, 1945 style, it ain't hard, okay? All right, Iran's got the bomb. Now let's have a real discussion.
So, again, if Iran has a nuke, if they actually have a nuke, doesn't that change everything? No, I'm not saying they do or don't. I'm not saying that Alex Jones knows, but Trump knows what Trump knows. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably going to be, this may be the biggest news that I've ever broken, because I am the breaking news podcaster here. I have sources. My sources have sources. My sources are better than your sources. My sources can beat up your sources, yada, yada, yada. These are all memes. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm going to break some news. I have it on good authority that President Trump knows more than somebody on Twitter with no profile picture, with an account that was just created in the past 3 days. I know this is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff right here, okay? But yeah, President Trump actually has better intel than a person with a default profile picture and an account that was just created a couple of days ago. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. That I deserve super chats for saying that. I might be the first person that's ever said that. I deserve a lot of respect, and I deserve to not be called names in my chat. And I appreciate all the nice compliments that are going to be said about me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hayden Wayne for 50 says the report from a data Republican says bots on X are boosting both sides. False reports are being boosted through bot comments and pushing both narratives. Not my sand, not my problem. If we get involved, we turn it all to glass. Better than the Samson option. Yes. So I agree with that, dude, because like I said, I've been on the internet a long time. I've been through it all. And I don't like to talk about, my service, but I served 4 tours in modern warfare lobbies. Okay. I don't need praise. Okay. But I served 4 tours in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. And again, I did it. I did it because out of the love of the game. Okay. And, so I don't need to be praised and all of that for what I did. And it wasn't always easy. I mean, I had a lot of threats against me. My mother was discussed a lot in those lobbies. And I ultimately, it wasn't the insults. If I'm going to be real, all the insults weren't the problem in the Modern Warfare lobbies. But I do deserve sympathy for having to listen to people playing music in their fucking headphones. Fuck all of those people. You are the worst gamers to ever live. The people that played music in the headphones. I hate every single one of you. All of you. Anyway, but no, back to it. I've been on the internet a long time. I've covered a lot of different stuff. And right now, the online discussion between what's going on with Israel and Iran and President Trump, I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it. It's bad. And yeah, there is a lot. I believe there's bots from both sides right now that are being, that's basically skewing the conversation and skewing the discussion. Because ultimately what happens is you have a discussion online and you get ratioed or vice versa. You know what I mean? And that will determine if you want to continue the conversation or how much you want to get involved, yada, yada, yada. And bots are being used for that. This is not something that is new, by the way. It's been going on forever and a day, but it does seem like things are out of control right now. It is what it is. So I would say just have a little bit of nuance when you're looking at all this and just understand it, So Axel Jensen says, bring back proper Jeremy. Slick Gossip says, don't forget about after Band of Brothers, you need to watch the Pacific and Master of the Air afterwards. Noted. Peter Gohawk says, damn, keep your mouth shut in prison makes you a made man in this administration. Damn autocorrect and super chat edits. What I meant. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Dude, the worst thing ever is a typo, especially when you're in the arguments. And as I've said, on the internet, that just means you lost. Like if you're having an argument with someone on Twitter and you have a typo, you lost. Those are the rules. So D-Day cover, by the way, you need to see Cena's promo from tonight. He cooked. All right, I will check it out. Yeah, I've lost a little bit of focus on WWE lately, but we are covering it over there on Locals, so I'm glad we're doing that. So Matt Frog says, Jeremy is a Manchurian candidate. Activation phrase Ronald McDonald. Just a dude on phone says that earthquake today could have been triggered by an underground nuclear explosion. If so, shit's going to get crazy. I do think that with all of this going on, I've been looking up a lot of stuff about the nukes that were dropped on Japan and just the horror that was and just everything that was centered around it. And then obviously I've only seen Oppenheimer, I think, twice, and I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. And while Oppenheimer, I think, is a really great movie, it's not something that's got rewatchability to it, at least for me. I think I'm going to rewatch Oppenheimer soon. I would say Oppenheimer is damn near a perfect movie outside of the fact that I love that Christopher Nolan is so focused on practical effects, but I think he botched the explosion in that movie because he was so focused on trying to make it practical. You know, it just looked like a very underwhelming kind of like gas explosion, you know, like all the hype and all the buildup and all the anticipation and, you know, all of that is just like to just get that little bitty explosion. Like, and you're like, dude, can you just like, can you just use some special effects for this? Like, we kind of really needed that moment to hit different. But outside of that, it's a great movie. And with all this stuff about nuclear, bombs and stuff like that, I'm interested to check it out again. Aaron James with a 99 cent, thank you. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with a gifted membership, thank you. Twigs says, your higher super chatters are at Mossad and supporting popularizing your takes. Hashtag exposed. Ignorant pawn doesn't even know. Just kidding. that's the level of delusion that they'll take it to. They'll be like, well, that's what it is. I'm like, good Lord, bro. Storm Shadow says Jeremy simps for Nolan. Let me correct that. When you say I simp for Christopher Nolan, I want to make the record. I want it on record. You are 100% right. My favorite fucking director. Let's fucking go. Donald Herb says, funny to think Avengers Kang Dynasty would have just come out, lol. Yeah, I heard that. Mike Zero Source says, Jeremy, Mike Zero called. He said you need to verify your source. Aaron James for a 99 cent. Thank you. Lapco says, thank you for your service. Watch the teeth next time. The legendary Golden Sport says, hallelujah, there is a God. Lofty Pixels has left the internet. Yellow Flash posted a very recent video about it. Really? Lofty Pixels is good people. Zeke the Wise with the most intelligent comment of the night. Interstellar, 10 out of 10. My all-time favorite movie right there. Eric K says, breaking news, FBI Kash Patel. Hang on, let's see. I got to approve something. Hang on. There. Okay. Boom. Breaking news, FBI Kash Patel says, new intel shows Al Capone was just an honest businessman. Trust us. We have all the information supporting this. Sir Ruin House Roundhead, have you seen Megan? Are you going to see Megan 2? I'm imagining Trump wanting to send Megan to Iran instead of troops, also finding her attractive. I've never seen it. I never was interested to watch that one. So yeah, just wasn't interested. There's like, what is there? There's a, there was a movie on Netflix that had Megan Fox as like this robotic like maid or whatever that this guy hired. And as soon as I saw the video, or as soon as I saw the premise of it, I was like, oh, I know what happens in this movie. So of course I clicked on it to fast forward and I'm like, oh yeah. I knew where this was going as soon as she showed me Megan Fox was in it and a dude hired her. I knew exactly where that was going. Donald Herb says, apparently Arnold said something else good on The Late Show or whatever. Really? Okay. I mean, I think he's just trying to recoup all of the L's that he took. But it's too late, man. It's way too late for that. So, Aaron James with 2 99-cent super stickers. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Aaron James. Okay, let me see where we're at. Yeah, so I just want to because I know that there's some people that are probably tuning in and you didn't see it at the top of the show, but this is just a wild take right here. Or this is a wild situation with Tim Walz. Now, Tim Walz, former vice president of vice presidential candidate with Kamala Harris. And then suddenly we had this this situation with this Minnesota assassin, and he previously worked for Tim Walz, and there were a lot of connections with the Tim Walz administration. I believe his wife also worked for Tim Walz, this assassin. And of course, he killed 2 state representatives, or at least he attempted to kill 2 of them. I think one of them died. I don't know if the other one died. I can't remember exactly. But suddenly this guy told the FBI in a letter that Tim Walz asked him to kill Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could take her seat. Now, they have not released the manifesto. Only 1 representative died. Okay, my bad. So they have not shown us the manifesto. Now people are saying both died. So I don't know. They kind of swept this story under the rug. So yeah, so Tim Walz, who famously said that he's friends with school shooters, in a debate with J.D. Vance. And as I said at the top of the show, I as a person that misspeaks all the time, I'm sympathetic to somebody who misspeaks, because I could tell exactly what I thought he was trying to say. I'm not so sure I feel that way anymore about Tim Walz. Just happened to misspeak. So he's a weirdo, dude. He's a freaking weirdo. And yeah, this is a big story that I wonder if it's going to actually, if we're going to see anything come from it, or if they're just going to ignore it altogether. Time will tell, I guess. But wow, saying that is a big problem. It's a huge problem. Now, I said earlier about investigations, but it's like, what's the point of an investigation? I'm kind of personally tired of hearing about, oh, we're going to do an investigation, and so we'll get Ted Cruz to give a passionate speech about it, yada yada yada, and nothing will happen from it. So this is a video I want to check out really quick. So Representative Wesley Hunt destroys Bill Maher after he calls Trump's parade fascist. All right, so let's hear this really quick.
Will fuck up the execution just like they did with the parade. Like, do I think it was a good idea to have a parade? No, but if you're going to do it, if you're going to have a vaguely fascist parade, do it right.
I want to say something about the parade to offer another opinion from our side of this whole thing, and that is, it was the 250th birthday of our United States Army. Right. As I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And somebody that served this nation as an Apache pilot, again, my brother and sister going to West Point, 6 years of military service, mostly in the Army. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. And you know what I saw? I saw the president salute the Corps of Cadets as they walked past him. I watched him salute the 75th Ranger Regiment as they walked past him. I sat there and watched the fireworks behind the Washington Monument. And you know what I thought? Damn, that's absolutely outstanding. And it's far better than Joe Biden checking his watch when bodies were being returned to Dover.
Okay, wait a minute.
This is hold on. This is a contrast that we were talking about and why you lost, because we are talking about a man that's talking about patriotism. And in parades like that, when I was growing up, I served because I used to go to these parades and watch my dad participate in them. I saw the Black Hawks landing. I visited my sister at West Point. I said, by God, I want to serve this country too. And so the dichotomy of what we're seeing with President Trump and his patriotism, saluting the flag, actually making an effort. And whether you like it or agree with the execution, the effort is there. That's all we want to see.
Execution does matter. First of all, thank you for your service.
Bill,
I mean that.
Oh, wait, you're thinking, oh man, how fascist of you to thank a soldier for his service, to show respect for military personnel.
I say that to everybody. I always have for 22 years.
I've watched you for 20 years.
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Thank you
always
very much.
behind the military, and
You have it.
Nobody compares to the military. Everybody says that they're brave. They're brave. Oh, you're so brave. Military, that's who's brave, and cops and firefighters and people like that, but mostly the military.
Bill Maher cucked real quick. That's pathetic right there, man. Like, look, so for me, I remember watching that parade, and something happened and it took me down a rabbit hole. So obviously we lost in the past year, we lost a country music legend by the name of Toby Keith. And Toby Keith was incredibly patriotic, loved the troops, loved them so much. And during that parade, during one of the highlight reels, his song American Soldier played. And I hadn't heard American Soldier in a while. And I fucking love that song. Like, it's one of my favorite patriotic songs of all time. I love that song so much. And so I went down a rabbit hole of just watching Toby Keith songs, watching him perform American Soldier. It reminded me that he actually showed up to Trump's inauguration in 2016 when everyone else, including Garth Brooks, would not show up. Toby Keith showed up to President Trump and his inauguration. And so I ended up watching this Toby Keith American Icon, where a lot of these, music stars paid homage to him. Trace Atkins performed American Soldier. It was so freaking good. I would recommend everybody go out there and watch Trace Atkins singing American Soldier in honor of Toby Keith. It's so good. And I ended up watching an artist that I wasn't overly familiar with until recently, but dude, it crushed me to listen to it. So there's a song by Toby Keith called My List, and it's a great song. It's a good song about family and perspective and being a father and all of that, and not getting overwhelmed by the moment and not getting caught up with, random BS. It's a phenomenal song. And at the Toby Keith Icon, performance, Jelly Roll showed up and sung that song in front of all of these fans and Toby Keith's family. And dude crushed it, like absolutely crushed it. It was insane how good of a job he did. And I would highly recommend everybody go check it out. Jelly Roll is awesome. He's absolutely awesome. And he's a good dude. He likes Trump too. So yeah, it was so good. I can't actually play it here, or I would, but I would get hit. But it's on YouTube. Just Google Toby Keith American Icon. You'll see a bunch of performers and things like that. It's so good. And Jelly Roll, legit, dude. So yeah, man. So anyway, my point being is that whole thing kind of took me down this rabbit hole of like, remembering Toby Keith and how patriotic he was and how much he loved the troops and how passionate he was about this, and how sad it is that he wasn't here for the 250th for the Army, because I know he would have loved it. But, obviously fuck cancer, because we lost Toby Keith to cancer. It's awful. It's horrible. And so little things like that. So that's just my little bit of like, thing that it inspired me to do. And it obviously made me appreciate things that I haven't appreciated in a while. And that's all thanks to President Trump doing what no other leader in recent memory has done: show the men and women of the armed forces some proper respect. And the fact that any of these clowns want to sit there and say anything bad about that is insane, dude. It just shows you that TDS, they can never, you cannot overcome TDS. If you have it, like, I guess there's occasional examples, but like when you have a severe case of TDS, it's almost impossible to overcome it. It really is. So, but anyway, fuck Bill Maher. I don't like Bill Maher. He's a piece of shit. I don't trust him. Don't like him. Don't respect him. And he just continues to make a fool of himself every step of the way. Let's see. What is this? Is this? Oh, okay. So we got this clip right here from JD Vance. All right. So right here, Vice President JD Vance refers to Senator Alex Padilla as Jose Padilla during his first visit to Los Angeles. The comment comes as Padilla has been showing off his acting skills in the media following his stunt at Kristi Noem's press conference last week. So let's listen to what JD Vance has to say.
Lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump. When all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open, but they're not doing that. They'd love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
Oh, that is fantastic. And now we have Karen Bass goes haywire after J.D. Vance referred to Senator Alex Padilla as Jose. Here we go.
Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today, because the last time I checked, the vice president of the United States is the president of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose? But I guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator.
Oh, man. J.D. Vance is crushing it, dude. J.D. Vance is crushing it. He truly is the heir apparent to President Trump. He really, really is. What is this, right? So I didn't see this. This is Jose Padilla right here. So
I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed,
I'm going to be honest. This is better acting than most things I've seen from Disney and Marvel in the last several years. I got to give him credit, man. He's putting his heart and soul into this.
and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, "Why am I being detained?" Not once did they tell me why. I pray you never have a moment like this. But I will tell you, in that moment, a lot of questions came to my mind. First of all, where are they taking me? Because I know I'm not just being escorted out of the building. Am I being arrested here? And what will a city already on edge from being militarized think when they see their United States senator being handcuffed just for trying to ask a question?
Good God, Democrats are the weakest people on the planet. This is embarrassing. Completely and totally embarrassing. So with the full context now, let's play that one more time for our great VP.
Lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump. When all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open, but they're not doing that. They'd love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
And just to finish off the beauty of the situation, we got to play this one more time. Here we go.
Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today, because the last time I checked, the vice president of the United States is the president of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose?
How dare
Well, I
you?
guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator.
Oh, this is good stuff right here, man. JD breaking their brains. You love it. Matt Frog says, Donald Trump, the talks have failed. Drop the Christie. Drop the Christie. I Lucifer says, Mr. Fig, who's your favorite actor and most hated? My favorite actor is Christian Bale. My most hated actor. I really don't like Daniel Craig. I don't know what it is about Daniel Craig. I don't like him. And that's purely on like just him in the movies. Like, if you want to talk about like their politics, like probably Mark Hamill is probably like my most hated. I hate Mark Hamill so much as a human being, but I don't mind him as an actor. But if you're talking about like purely as an actor, like I really don't like Daniel Craig. I really just don't. Yeah. But Christian Bale is Christian Bale's been my favorite actor since before Batman Begins. So it was before Batman Begins. I was so happy when he was cast as Batman. I didn't really know who Nolan was when Batman Begins came out. But I believe Christian Bale, I remember watching American Psycho all those years ago, and I remember thinking like, this guy is so creepy. And now looking back on it, it's just a phenomenal masterpiece performance by Bale. But I saw him in several things like, what was that one? Drawing a blank. It was him and Matthew McConaughey. It was a movie about dragons. I can't believe I'm missing the name of it, but somebody will say it here in just a minute. Reign of Fire. That's it. Reign of Fire, Arclight. Yeah. So he had Reign of Fire. He had The Machinist, Equilibrium. And I think it was after I saw Equilibrium that Bale became my favorite actor. And I'm like, this guy is fucking fantastic at everything. He can do everything. He can do action. He can do method acting. He can do drama. He can do creepy kind of like psychological thriller. Like Bale can do everything. So yes, of course, The Prestige and, yes, Rescue Dawn is a fantastic one. Yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. Bale's my favorite actor, though. Denzel's right there, too. Aaron James for 99 cents. Thank you. Peter Gohawk says, no praise. F that. Thank you for your service. Vault 95 says, should get Ben on F&T before Beardo. That actually would be funny. Let's see. Metaphysical for 20 says those were bots starting fights and causing bands division during the H-1B convo. 2, some claimed Elon was suspending people because he was controlled by the Jews. Same shit, dividing tactics. Yeah, the H-1B thing was really crazy. You're right about that. I do remember how crazy that one got. Thank you for the 20. I appreciate that. Solo Felix says, Tampon Tim is so hungry he could eat a horse. Oh, wait. Aaron James just spamming 99 cent super chat. So I'm okay with that. Great Tang says, do you think the mega fauna at the View, Whoopi, will have to issue an apology for the take on blacks versus Iranian lives? Hail Snake Pit. I think that was like a month or two ago, so I don't think so. I think it was about a month or two ago. JRG Project says Karen Bass channels her inner Greta Thunberg. Rye the Guy says Mayor Sharon Brass needs to calm the F down. Axel Jensen says I live in Cali and Padilla is a literal who. Mike Zero Source says Jose gone bat gay crazy. Old Renaissance Boomer says how dare you? Is she the Disney remake of Greta? Sam Uri says highly recommended 2 animes on Prime now. Anti-communist 80s anime called Angel Cop, and current anime Old Country Bumpkin becomes Master Swordsman. There's some anime recommendations for all the peeps in the chat right there. I don't watch anime a lot, but I've watched a few and I've enjoyed the hell out of the ones that I have watched. And Aaron James with a 50 says, because you acknowledge the super chats, appreciate your streams and the Geeks and Gamers crew. Jessica Lindstrom is fire. And don't forget to pray the gay away. Thank you, Aaron James, for a $50 super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it so much. And with that, we're going to call it a night. I just wanted to catch up on all of the news that we had going on today because there was a lot that we missed after I went live earlier. And of course, this is the world of Trump. There's always something going on. There's always something crazy going on. Bird Up says Mark Ruffalo is worse than Mark Hamill. At least Hamill has some good roles that he'll be remembered for positively. Ruffalo is that guy that made everyone realize they treated Edward Norton too harshly. I agree. Edward Norton's Hulk is 10 times better than Mark Ruffalo's. And Edward Norton is one of the greatest actors. Like American History X is one of the greatest acting performances you'll ever see with Edward Norton. I'll just go ahead and tell you, if you're sensitive, don't watch American History X. It's not for soy boys at all. American History X is a tough watch. From that perspective, it's a great movie, one of the greatest movies ever made. And of course, Hollywood doesn't want you to watch that movie at all. Primal Fear is another one. That one's great. Look who showed up. Laughing Man for $1. Laughing Man. What's up, Laughing Man? Laughing Man doesn't like me anymore. He's really mad at me. I don't know what I did. Robot Boob says, shout out to the 199. Thank you. Peter Go Hawk says, Vance slowly catching up to Trump for best troll. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Rounders is great too. Yes, Rounders with Matt Damon and Edward Norton. Phenomenal movie. Love that movie. A proper dollar, says Lance Finn from Laughing Man. How much of that dollar do you get to keep? Not much after taxes and all that other stuff. But hey, the only way I'm able to do what I do is because the people support us here, support us at Geeks and Gamers, and everywhere else. By the way, that whole GoFundMe thing I was talking about starting for the big sports complex. I don't know, man. I'm gonna feel it would feel like really bad to ask for the amount of money it's gonna take. I don't know if it's. I think it might be too much to do. It may be too much. Like, we're talking about an ungodly amount of money to like for the cost. Like, we're talking like $500,000. It's insane, dude. It's like $500,000 is what it's gonna take. I just don't know if I'm comfortable asking for that. It's way too much. AOC Furry Patrol says the most unhinged Twitter user is One Good Turn. He crashes out over Orange Man and Coof multiple times a day. He's modern Democrat in a nutshell. Is it so he's a troll, or is it like a legit like crash out? Yeah, it's about okay. Many of you may not know what I'm talking about. So on Tuesday night's main event, Ripa and Johnny got into a big argument. They were fighting about who could win at basketball. It was a great argument. And it turned into like, well, we should do something and have everybody involved and do a big tournament. And Ripa was like, well, I've tried, Jeremy. You said you wanted to play last time we had a con or something. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 40 something years old. Like, I can't fucking play basketball when I'm having to like direct a con. So like, I'll be dead for 3 days if I played a game of basketball. So like, we need to build this game around like the moment, not like, a convention, So, it evolved into like this discussion of like, well, what I want to do, I would love to open up a sports complex like Dude Perfect does and make that our day-to-day studio where we make content, but we also are doing gimmicky shit like Dude Perfect does, bringing in Gary, bringing in Ripa, bringing in all our favorite content creators and doing, goofy shit and challenges and all of that, and live stream it every single day. Just live stream, constant live streams, and live stream it, vlogs, do all this shit. But I looked up like the buildings in Orlando, and like, we're talking like $250,000 just for rent for the year for the type of building I would need. $250,000. And I'm like, that's just the rent. That's not the equipment. That's not the setting up. Like, it's just a lot, man. So I don't know. Why not see if you can find sponsors? I'm always leery about sponsors because I'm going to say something offensive and they don't want to be connected to me. You know what I mean? Better to buy the property and build it yourself. True. Eventually, like, it's got to be in Orlando. That's kind of where we're all based. So it's got to be in Orlando. So, but yeah, like I would love to do something like that. And I would love to make it happen. I just don't know if it's possible, but I'm looking into it, you know? So, let's see. Court says that's the stupidest thing I've heard all day. You probably haven't been here long because I've said a lot of stupid shit, by the way. So, Godzilla's Grisha says, before we finish up, can we have Sweeney at a huge discount since it's my birthday today? Look at that. You know what? I think we'll do it. Harley Dave says, I love investing in dumb shit. Clearly. I fucking love you, Harley Dave. Oh, man. Solar Feely says that Romper Stomper with Russell Crowe was before it. I lose versus Soy Boys like the shower scene in American History X. Axel Jensen says, why don't we just do a sports meetup one a year? We could do that too. I just see bigger potential. Like, it's not that I just want to do it for the idea of doing it. Like, I legitimately think we could do something huge with this complex. We could do something like, I'm telling you, like, we could provide content, a live stream let's say 5 days a week, every day, all day live stream. And then you're going to see us, in and out of the complex. We're going to record videos. It could just be constant content, man. It would be insane. It would be amazing. Warbear says, hail to the mods. No matter how gay or old they are, they do a pretty decent job for old gays. Thank you, Warbear. Let's see. Ministry of Wrong Things says, drop an N-word, you'll get $500,000. Godzilla's Greaser wanting Sydney Sweeney at a discount. And you know what? We're going to give you some Sydney Sweeney at a discount. Let me see where it's at. Hang on. It's hard to see on the screen that I'm on. Where the hell is it? Give me a minute. I'm looking. Here we go.
I'm so happy you love the first drop of my collection of Frankie's bikinis. We have more dreamy pieces coming our way, so tap to sign up for early access so you can get more information.
All right, Harley, I'll check. I didn't see it, but I will check. And of course, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Godzilla's Greaser. There you go, sir. All for you. Appreciate you. All right. And with that, Pippi says, I would love to watch Ryan order food. You know what's crazy? And I've talked about this. Like, Ryan is legitimately a great golfer. He's absolutely fantastic. He'll underplay it. He'll undersell it when you ask him about it. I've played golf with Ryan. Ryan is fucking fantastic at golf. Like, legitimately great. He really is good. He'll underplay it. He'll bring it. If you bring it up to him, he goes, I'm not. He's really good. And he always says, like, oh, you know, I'm peaked. I can't get any better. Bullshit. If Ryan actually put time into it, like, he could get better. He's really good. He's really good. Let's see. And you know, I don't like complimenting him. I'm just being honest. He's really freaking good. Let's see here. Hang on. Elite Neo says, let's see if you guys, any of you guys are ever in Pensacola and you guys want to do some sports stuff, the Navy Federal Rec Center is 9 Mile is open to the public and has all the facilities you need. Noted. Thank you, Elite Neo. Star Wars Stripe says, great personality. Great personality indeed. And okay, guys, so we're going to end it there. Thank you so much. Hail to the chat. Hail to the mods. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you for what you do for me and for everyone in the 199. It is greatly appreciated. And I hope you all have a great evening. Hang on just a minute. And let's see. Let me see. Jeremy could probably get athletes on streams. Lots of them are based. I mean, I've got connections to some athletes. I just don't try to utilize them because it's like bringing them on a stream is one thing, like a panel stream, but like to do stuff like that in Florida, in Central Florida, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we could do there. So anyway, I'm just brainstorming. If it's something we could pull off, I'd love to do it. But I take people and their support of us very seriously. So I want to make sure we can maximize this. And so I'm thinking it through to the best of my ability. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Pray for President Trump. And we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.